Okay, I think we're live, right? Probably. It's 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Yep, nice. It's Thursday, May 1st. Let's do AD 2025. What's up, the dude? F7X. What's up, Steve? NX thing? No thing? Whatever. Am I live? Am I live on pilled.net? Oh, yeah. My first time streaming on pilled.net. Based. Let me see if I can raid Hake. Where's Hake? The Hake. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Let me try it one more time. Let me just see. Oh, yeah. Boom. You have set up a raid. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have a third rail with Omar on the show today. So you can join. Omar is not that happy with Trump, although he was kind of for Trump. He might even have voted for Trump, our greatest president. You guys are familiar with Omar if you've watched my show and caught his prior interviews over the months and actually years. He interviewed me years ago. He's a Yemeni American, born in Yemen, came to America at a very young age, grew up in New York, and kind of one of those like reasonable liberal guys, because he's like, you know, he's Muslim. But he's not like rigid Muslim. He's an Americanized Muslim dude. And I like talking with him. So he's kind of hit and miss with you guys. Shout out. But yeah, he doesn't think that he's going to go in on Trump. So you can call in 1-888-775-3773. Thank you, JLP. That is to say, Pastor Chatelet helping JLP raid the stream over on Rumble. Very nice. It's my first day on pilled.net. Very cool. Sweet. So, and I'm ditching Twitch today. No Twitch for Hake, okay? I'm ditching Twitch because I get no action on Twitch. So I just switched to Rumble. That's one time a man can switch. I mean, I switched to pilled.net. I will get to your super chats, okay? I do see them. A couple of people bought me coffees. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. And we're going to see if we can get Omar here on air. Complicated business because X is not working for him. But that's okay because I have to get stuff ready for us to get going. 1-888-775-3773. We're getting started here, over here on the Hake Report. Anchor baby, helping out big time. Because I'm a boomer. And I don't know how to function on some of this stuff. It's tricky. It's tricky business. But it's okay. I don't want to jump the gun over here or anything. In fact, while I'm preparing, I don't know if I can do this. While I'm preparing, let me read a couple of super chats. Greggatron bought a coffee, saying, I was going to call you, but this is better. If all the whites disappeared, we'd be doomed. Here's why. In fact, let me show this coffee to you while we're here. We'd be doomed, and here's why. See if I can... My scrolling skills are back on track. White people work at jobs. If whites disappeared, we'd be doomed. Here's why. White people work at jobs at auto stores, car dealerships, mechanics, bike shops. motorcycle shops, fitness stores, sports stores, fishing shops, banks, Walmart, Target, military, gun stores, maintenance, HVAC, plumbing, electricians, solar panel workers, carpenters, laborers, painters, floor layers, roofers, bricklayers, air quality checkers, engineers, doctors, nurses, teachers, professors, truck drivers, gas stations, farmers, Walgreens, CVS, cops, firemen, paramedics, and so much more where whites work. Stores don't just have general managers, but they have district managers who are often white. Some black people work some of these jobs too, but there wouldn't be enough of us to go around to fill all the empty jobs, nor the Mexicans too, by the way, or even the Asians. We'd be spread too thin, so things would collapse. Plus, black people aren't built for some of these jobs. Without whites, blacks would vote in a ton of immigration to fill all those lost jobs. But all the quality of the work would go down the drain. Furthermore, the ghetto blacks would rob the decent blacks and all those jobs I mentioned. Yeah, kind of like what's happening today. Lastly, white people are seen as authority figures, says Greggatron. If whites leave, the decent blacks would have no protection or wherewithal or authority to keep the country in check from the indecent blacks. Everybody knows this. I can go on, but this is already non-pithy. Sorry, you get the idea, says Greggatron, or states Greggatron, and I'm reading it. Not necessarily in his voice. He would say it more manly and superhero-ish than I. Carver also bought a coffee. Ah, Mr. Hake, me so sorry. Happy AAPI month. Oh, Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. This is my second favorite month of the whole year because you played Chinese music every day of the week. Well, at least you did that one year. Yeah, I did. That's funny. Here's a fun fact. In Europe, they call Omar's people Asian because he's Yemeni. It's kind of like Indian situation we have here. Wow. Anyway, I have a riddle for you. What has two wings and a halo? A Chinese telephone that says, wing, wing, halo? You want fried rice with that? It says Carver. Thank you, Carver. Fun super chat and impressive. Nice. Sweet. Thank you. Joel Friday's coming up right after Hake, by the way. Pretty deep there, Greggatron, I have to say. Let me set my redirect for Joel Friday TV, who's going to be coming on next. Let me refresh just for a second here. Right on, Greggatron. He's talking some sense, and in fact, you see a hint of that already going on because whites are disappearing. They're not being born. And they just don't make whites like they used to. They do not make whites like they used to. I still don't see Juwan. Let me check. Maybe I'm looking too early. That's okay. I will remember. No, I won't. I will not remember. Yeah, Carver got me nervous. No offense, he says. So thank you guys for your super chats. And anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the... Oh, hold on. Oh, that's... Oh, no. Yeah, I just do that. Show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. Oh, man. What in the world? Did I skip ahead? I must have skipped way ahead. I am fine. I don't know where I was. You like my shirt? It has the sea, the beautiful sea. And nice. So let me see. Let me do this. And let me do this. Right? Let me do this. Terrible. Hold on. Oh, maybe it's this. Let's see. Nice. Okay, and this. Ring. I need to do my practice stuff. Oh, no. Hold on. Yes. Hold on. It's complicated business here. Oh, yeah. I have him. I unmuted him as well. It's complicated business, folks. We're getting ready. Let's see. Nice. Okay, sweet. I think this is the answer. And with that, I have with me, I do believe.
Hold on, Hake. Sorry.
Oh, okay, just kidding.
Having a hard time today.
I know.
Hello.
We're boomers. We don't know anything. Millennial
I was
boomers.
just thinking the same thing because I heard you say that before. I said I was gonna tell Hake I'm more boomer than he is.
Yeah, you might be.
How's the camera? Okay.
It looks okay. Yeah,
Okay,
I
good.
like the picture, actually. Our heads are about
Good.
in the same position over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So,
All right.
sweet.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling fine. How about you, man?
I'm glad to hear that, man.
I have with, this is Omar, third rail with Omar. And and Omar, if you don't know, he's third_rail on YouTube and the comforter _1, numeral 1 on X. On X. And he's been on my show. I've been on his show. He's been on my show many times now. And tell him what you came here for, Omar.
Well, I think today marks the 100th day of the presidency of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And we're gonna discuss that, and we're gonna discuss the failure of his 100 days. And I mean, I have to point it out. I'm going to be like the third rail in this show.
All right.
I'm going to be hated by you guys. Guys, I'm just going to tell you I want to be honest with you when I come on the show. I did support Trump when he ran for president because I didn't like the social values that we were heading toward with the Democratic Party. When the Democratic Party forgot its working class and started chasing, happy hour, dance hour, and all this stuff. The T, the trans this, trans that, as if they were a big voting bloc. But I know Donald Trump. He's from New York, and I know how he is in this. Right now, 100 days is 100 days a failure. He has signed more than 140 executive orders. Most of them are just non-binding. And his attack on these institutions don't make no sense. If you really want to eliminate them, you have to go through Congress because they're made by Congress. They are made by law. All you're doing right now is just decimating the work force in them. Then the Democratic president will come and just refill them up again. So you never did anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, that he's wasting his time. He's hurting the economy. You saw we shrank. This GDP shrank by 0.3%. Our economy is shrinking.
That's not bad, though, right?
Yeah, but he's doing too much. They have a Chinese saying that if your friend has a fly on his forehead, you don't use an axe to kill it.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
So he bought that crazy guy. What's his name? Mosk. He's running around with a chainsaw. And they were just running into these institutions, these agencies. Oh, we're going to close it down with these teenagers. Now,
he has teenagers in Doge?
Yeah, if the government was
Nice.
doing it, I have no problem with that because you are elected. But when you bring somebody from outside to go into this institution and kick people out and the presidents of these agencies, that's called chaos.
I disagree with your characterization, though, because the government right now has been it's been chaos. It's been controlled chaos, but not controlled by the people. Like a lot of these agencies are out of control. They're unelected bureaucrats who are doing stuff that nobody voted for. And and so this is more than just a fly on the forehead. It's a monster on our back. It's a crazy monkey monster on our back. There's a phrase saying monkey on your back. It's not a racial thing.
There's no doubt. You're absolutely right. I'm not arguing with that. We have the most corrupt system in the world. We have a two-party system that takes turns to rob the treasury. Every 4 years or 8 years, a new gang comes in. They rob the treasury as much as they can. Then now they're fighting. They don't want to even wait their turns no more. That's why there's all this in fighting. They don't want to wait until they get the turn to rob the American people. What I'm saying is he could do it the right way. He controls Congress. The government is a Republican government. If you want to get rid of these agencies, you could do it by law. Get rid of them completely. You know, right now it's just like you're hitting the snake in the head, but you're not killing it. Yeah, you understand? These agencies will still be there. I don't trust
Congress to be able to get rid of them, though. I like the strong action, and then we work on the Congress stuff, and hopefully that long term this stuff sticks.
If they do it, but if they don't do it through Congress, it's just you're going to give the Democratic president to come with a. You see, Donald Trump is using a Sharpie, right?
Right.
The Democratic president is going to use a magic marker to bring those agencies back, because the Democratic Party loves big government, big spending, big things. I mean, we agree on that.
Yeah.
But me and you could agree there's a lot of corruption on both sides of the political aisle. Our country is not owned by Americans. Imagine there's an organization called AIPAC that gives every single person money. Every single person in Congress gets money from this organization.
Even that one guy who says that he doesn't? What about that one guy?
Massey from Kentucky. Yeah. They're going to get rid of him. No, watch. They're going to get rid of him because they're so strong. They couldn't do it last time, but they're going to get an opposition. They're going to get some idiot from Kentucky to run against him. And I like that individual, and I like his thinking. Believe it or not, me as an immigrant, I still think I view as an America First mentality.
Right.
I agree. Mass immigration is a danger to me before it's a danger to the Native Americans like you or the whites, whatever.
Is that because because you have to deal with these immigrants at your shops and stuff like that?
Not only that, I give you a great example. Let's say there's a lot of Hispanic immigrants, right? So you have this neighborhood, you have these working middle class Hispanic people who've been here for decades. They build their houses, they build their business, their kids are safe. All of a sudden you get this infusion of these gangbangers from South America and Central America. They go into their neighborhood, then their kids are in danger. Their job goes down, the value of their job, they pay, and their neighborhood value goes down. So you have to look at it through economic and safety. I don't want these people in my neighborhood. Even if they're Hispanic, it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
Even if you understand why the Hispanic voted for Trump and the Arabs and the blacks and everybody voted for Trump, because we understood we don't want any chaos in our neighborhood, even if it's from us. I don't want people from Yemen, if they're gangbangers, wherever, come to the neighborhood and create chaos or embarrass us as a community. We have this sense of embarrassment. We have we have these kids who speed in our neighborhood. We have a small area called Little Yemen in the Bronx, and they go out in the street and with the cars, and we were looking for them with baseball bats because they're embarrassing us in front of the other neighbors.
What a mess.
So I agree 100%. It's the way he did it. It's not. You're not killing the disease. You're just giving painkillers.
So you support his shutting down the border? Did he do that right?
Of course. No country is a country without borders.
Yeah.
If you want to come, you're gonna have to come the right way, like I did. We waited in line. We waited through. We had to prove we were not criminals. We have no criminal history in our country. We had no diseases. We took disease tests. They test you for everything. And my grandfather, the first time he stepped in this country is in 1953. He was a merchant marine for the British Empire. And after that, they opened the 1964 nationalization immigration. All that stuff that was done in the 60s with the civil rights and all those movements.
Yep.
And we migrated here, but we're low Biden citizen. We took this opportunity and we just grabbed it.
Yep.
I don't have no criminal record. I've been here all my life, almost 40 years, 35 years. The only thing I ever did was I was in a subway. I ate some fried chicken as a teenager, and I put the garbage under the seat, and I got a ticket. That's all the most thing I
Nice.
ever did.
Wow, good old days. They actually enforce
Yeah,
that.
you don't
huh?
have that. But the whole issue is that this is what I'm saying. Right now there's a lot of chaos. Right now, 35%, 45% of shipping is not making it to our ports. These are merchandise that affect businesses like Walmart, like these discount places, and Christmas is coming and things of that nature. And the lie of these tariffs are actually being paid by China is not true. We're paying for it. It's another consumption tax for 90% of the population.
Yeah.
And we're not prepared. Even let's say we want to bring manufacturing back to the United States. We're not prepared. We don't have the infrastructure. We destroyed it with NAFTA. We destroyed all these free trade in the 90s with Clinton and the Republican Party.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? We don't have no factories to make umbrellas, to make dolls, to make hairpins.
But that's sort of living in the future, because why don't we just wait and see how this goes? Because the economy is going to have like a little overreaction bump. The mainstream media is going to pretend like the sky is falling. And who knows? Maybe there will be a recession. I don't know. But they're almost hoping for a recession. Whereas under Biden, under Biden, they were so reticent to admit that it was a recession. In fact, many of them never even really admitted that we had a recession under Biden. Don't call it a recession. Whereas with Trump, they're trying to predict a recession because they want him to fail. So I wouldn't really jump the gun and judge Trump on the economy yet.
Yeah.
Because long term, I think it'll be for the good. And by long term, I mean, give it even a couple of years and let's see how things are going.
I agree with you 100% that America is being taken advantage and I trade with other countries, but we don't make these things no more. I mean, the United States is more of a service economy.
I know.
And just to do it suddenly, you could do tariff 10%, 20%. You have to use your mind. It has to be, because the American public is going to be affected. Your base is going to get affected by that. Imagine Walmart. I don't know. They have like 2 million people that works. Imagine if Walmart goes out of business, or God forbid, start laying off a lot of people. You could do all that in a small. What he did is he declared war on the whole world. He put tariff on everybody. He united the whole world against us in opposition. And what they did, they're very smart. The Japanese and what they did and the Chinese did, they started selling the treasury notes they have. And the economy, the dollar was going to drop dead because you understand, because they were selling the America's debt that they own, and the bond market was about to go up. The interest was about to collapse. That's why they stopped it. They said, "Oh, let's hold the break here, guys."
I know, but sometimes you have to like wake them up. And then he did pull back, except not on China. And he's been talking about China as a prime governmental or economic problem for us, because we're so dependent on them. And so I think really, although the whole world is a problem, they all are our enemies. Truly, they don't care about us. They exploit us.
It's business.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think what he did that thing to snap all of these people out of it, give them a warning shot, and then pull back, but keep the pressure on China. And I think that he's doing it. I think he's actually doing it smart and bold, and it's just smarter and bolder than the rest of us can comprehend.
He could have done 20%, 30%, also makes sense. He will have this. He needs the support of the American people.
Right.
Americans, they think with their pocket. You understand? We don't have no ideology as Americans. The average American doesn't give a damn what's going on overseas.
True.
He doesn't even know.
Indeed. Yep.
If he told them that Georgia was a state in Russia, they say, "Oh yeah, it's in Russia." What I'm saying is that people think with their pockets. As soon as they go to the grocery store or to try to buy something, and the price has went up 145%, then they don't blame China. They blame the government, the presidency, you have to do it in a surgical way. First, you outlaw all the technology that's going to China. You know, they steal our technology. That's a good way.
Uh-huh.
This little petty stuff like toys and clothes and stuff, it's not. We're not going to make no pants and underwears no more. You're not going to do it. No American's going to do it no more. The ship has passed, like they say. We don't have the infrastructure. All these people, they call it the Rust Belt for a reason, because everything is rusted. Everybody left. What they need is you have to do it in a surgical way. I was looking at ChatGPT. I was saying, how many American businesses is there? I don't know for sure. They say there's 70,000 American businesses in China.
Wow.
Yeah, so we
I'm
built
not surprised, actually.
This is the problem with us in the United States. We built things and it attacks us in the end. We went to Afghanistan, we built Al Qaeda. Went to Iraq, we built ISIS. We took China out of the farmland. China in the 90s was just cartoons of farmlands and poverty. They had no real cities. They had no real directions. But our corporate greed went in there to make that dollar, and they created a monster. And if you look at China, cities are better than our cities. Their transportation is better than ours. Everything is better than ours. You understand? Because they invest in their infrastructure. The money goes back into their country.
They also don't really have. They're also very tough on crime and pretty uniform in their populace. Is very like all Chinese, and so there's a lot more trust. It's like a completely different culture. They try not to offend or embarrass one another, and also they're very communist. Like very, they are extremely, I think, authoritarian. And we could do that, I guess, but I don't think we ever would because
we've been killing people for. We had like 50 wars in the last 40 years.
The people love their degeneracy here.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that like China will go to an African country. They're like, we don't care about your government or your human rights. That's not our business. We just want to do business here. You understand?
Yeah.
But us, we're going there. Oh, we got to make democracy. We got to change this country. We got to rebuild it. All this BS. And you understand?
Somebody in the chat makes a great point.
Yeah.
You know, you talked about how Walmart is taking a hit and all these big, huge businesses.
Yeah.
Over on Pilled Ghost Pepper says, God forbid Walmart goes out of business and small businesses make a comeback. Like your shop, you know? Like I think that these big corporations have been in bed with the government and made it not easy to do business as an individual or a small business. And so it's squelched people's entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, people mistake the idea that America is a country. America is a corporation. America is a corporation.
Let's take away the power from the corporation at the federal level, and bring back the tariffs and bring back some sense.
You could do tariff, but it has to make sense. Yeah, 20-30%. I know everybody. Walmart is not a good company. Walmart, the majority of their workers are subsidized by food stamp because they don't pay them enough. Believe it or not. But the whole idea is, no, look at it. The majority of Walmart workers are subsidized by food stamp. Without food stamp, they cannot survive because they're not being paid enough. So the American government is actually subsidizing indirectly Walmart.
Wow.
But Walmart has about 2 million workers.
We should get rid of that.
Yeah, but they employ 2 million people, and small business like mine or whatever it is, we don't sell the kind of stuff that they sell. You understand?
Right.
We're very limited. We have like 3 workers.
Yeah.
Mostly immigrants. They work like 12, 14 hours a day. So there's no 3 shifts or 4 shifts. But I'm not saying that Walmart is a good company or any other company. They're out there to make money. At the end of the day, it's all about money in the United States. The bottom line is, how much can I make after this quarter? This is what it is in the United States. My issue is that you're getting rid of all these crazy agencies. Like there are some agencies we didn't even know they existed. You understand?
Right. Isn't that great?
Yeah, it is great, but you're not killing it completely. You're keeping it alive. You know, for the next guy just to put some water on it, the Democratic Party, and bring it right back to life because you never got rid of it. It will always exist.
Give it time. Maybe we'll be able to go through Congress because do you really trust Congress to do anything? I think I like that he slashed them hard and shocked them, and maybe we start to get used to the government being smaller, and with seeing it, when you see it, then you can see that it's the good idea. Sometimes discussing things in the abstract doesn't allow you to realize what a great idea it is. So I like the fact that he did that, and then maybe Congress will follow suit, like Biden with Trump, the China tariffs. The first term, Trump did China tariffs, and Biden kept them. So if he executes by hook or by crook, maybe people will see that what he's doing is actually working.
Yeah, but the tariff he did last time, we didn't feel them, and they're working, right?
Right. Yeah.
He did in a smart way. He did hurt the farmers, though. You know that, because
okay.
With the Chinese, they're very smart. What they did is, okay, what can we do to get even with Donald Trump? He has a lot of red state support, so there's a lot of farmers. So we're not going to buy soybeans and pig, whatever, from pork from the United States. And they're buying it now from Brazil. So the farmers lost a lot of trade routes with them. And, you know, business is about relationships. It takes years to build these routes and these business. And once you do that, once they get used to buying soybeans from Brazil, that's it. It's over for the guy in Idaho or Iowa or who's growing these things.
That happens sometimes, man. It's
so
rough.
That's what they do. They are pinpointing what they want to hurt the United States. They want to hurt you where they could hurt the red states.
Yeah,
that's what the Chinese are doing. That's what they're doing. You understand?
Terrible.
Yeah, they're very, you know, governments are cruel. That's why they have monopoly on violence. That's what governments are just gangs with a lot of weapons.
Nice.
You know, like the Crips and the Bloods, they're the same thing. They have the same walk, the Crip walk. That's what they all do. This is what governments are. They're gangsters. That's what they do. Even us, do you think we have really freedom, that we are functioning? We're just nothing but serfs. You know, we're paying these taxes. The top 1% makes all the money, and the bottom 90% just works check to check. Imagine, Hake, that almost 43% of Americans don't have $1,000 in their bank.
Wow.
That's it.
Imagine that's not a way to live.
Imagine if your car breaks down. It's over for you. The car breaks down. You can't go to work.
You go into credit card debt.
Yeah, everybody. They are behind in car payments and mortgages and everything. We are walking on a thin line where we're going to jump over a cliff sooner or later if we don't take care of these problems.
Yeah.
Now, Trump has a good idea about all these agencies, about I don't know the diversity and whatever training, this and that. They make all these names. It's all about sucking money out of the federal government.
Yeah, right.
All right. Trump has a lot of power, you know, over the Republicans. Guys, I need some work done. Stop passing some bills. They haven't passed no bills yet since they started. They're just watching.
Yeah.
Remember when I told you that the power of the United States is in the Article 1. That's Congress. Congress have the right to the purse, to make war, to make peace, oversight, to expel the president, to expel the courts. They are the biggest power because it was done by design because they don't want a king.
But they surrendered their power to the agencies, the bureaucracies. And so Trump is forcing it back onto them.
The executive branch is the weakest branch. He's just a coffee boy. He's only there. His whole shtick is whatever Congress tell him, he's there to make it work. You know, he's like the CEO. Or we need this.
The executive branch. Yeah.
Yeah, he could have ideas with his parties and introduce ideas and things like that. But the executive branch has no real power. They have control of the Yeah, they have control of the guns, but the guns they have are supposed to give them permission by Congress still.
Right. And we have ignored that for decades.
Yeah,
it feels like
we don't have. I had a social study teacher named Mr. Siegel. May he rest in peace. That's a long time ago. He described me. He used to help me a lot. I think he said America is like a table with 3 legs. He said if it loses one leg, the table falls down. You understand? So if the branches are not doing their job, oversight, the jury, and then you don't have no government. That's how the American government works. It's a 3-headed monster or 3-headed or 3-legged table that if they don't function the right way, then you're going to have chaos.
Right.
In the United States.
And I think that's what these agencies are, because they undermine the president, especially when there's a Republican president, or especially Trump. Because the agencies are supposed to be under Trump to execute Congress and execute what Trump wants.
Enforce,
But they undermine him instead. So I'm glad that he's slashing those agencies.
Some agencies have no purpose. It's like being born a bastard. You have no father, no mother. They're there. We don't even know they exist. They get like $100 million, $100 million to do nothing. I'm with you 100%, Hake.
Yeah.
We got to cut the federal government. You know, Pat Buchanan. I don't know if you heard of him. He's the first conservative.
Yeah, of course.
Here.
He was friends with JLP, I believe.
Yeah, Pat Buchanan used to say, the best thing to do to the federal government is to starve it. Well, he said, they said, how do you starve it? He said, just don't let it collect a lot of taxes, cut the taxes, make sure it doesn't have a lot of money.
Right.
Because once it gets a lot of money, it starts making wars, it starts overreaching, it starts doing.
Make all these regulations. Trump has been cutting regulations because of these agencies too.
You know, the majority of agencies were made by Republican presidents.
Wow, what a mess.
Nixon, the EPA, all these
Really?
agencies. Yeah, Nixon.
I did hear about Nixon with that, I think.
He was the best president. He did so much. He was probably a liberal if you look at his agency that he set up, and they still took him down, the poor guy. You understand?
Terrible.
So all these agencies were made by Republican, like the Department of Homeland Security. You don't need that. That's the biggest bureaucracy we need. It's just adding one more agency on top of.
That was started after 9/11, right? The Department of Homeland
George
Security.
W. Bush. Yeah. Why do you need all these agencies?
They don't even secure anything. They're not
nothing.
securing.
She got her purse stolen. They stole her purse.
Terrible.
In New York, what's her name?
Yep.
Anyway, when she was eating imagine if she's keeping America safe.
On Easter.
She could keep her purse safe.
What a joke.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
yeah.
But I want to get into this. You brought up universities when we were discussing having you on. Trump is targeting these universities, brainwashing institutions, anti-American, enemies of America, in my opinion.
But I'm gonna tell you what. Go ahead, continue.
And he's saying we need to get rid of DEI. Oh, and also anti-Semitism, because these universities have been the place where there's been protests, pro-Palestinian protests, over the past couple of years because of with the October 7th reaction and the ensuing war, October 7th, 2023, I guess.
Yeah.
And so we've been at war for a year and a half, and they've been protesting and supposedly intimidating Jewish students, and Jewish students have been fighting with the Palestinian people. Yeah. But I heard that they did block some Jewish students, right? Didn't they block them from entering on campus?
What they're doing is, you have to understand the game of politics. They're using anti-Semitism to cover the genocide in Gaza. They want to keep us busy with the word anti-Semitism. Right. If you spit on the ground by mistake, oh, he's an anti-Semite. Let me tell you what happened with the colleges. We found out it's not Trump who's doing it. When Harvard would send a letter to comply with all this garbage stuff and become just a puppet institution, we found out that the agency that was doing it was the Anti-Semitism Task Force.
Right.
Once it came to light, they got nervous. They are using anti-Semitism as a way to not to shut down, but to to make these colleges comply with things. There is no anti-Semitism in colleges. I went to college. Every professor I had was Jewish. I went to public school in the United States. I never had a Jewish classmate because they don't go to public school. But I always had Jewish teachers. You understand?
Yeah.
So there is no nothing. There's protests outside, and the majority are Jewish students who are leading these protests. But the whole idea is
right.
They are using anti-Semitism as a weapon of fear.
Anti-Israel, right? Israel critic or Netanyahu critic.
Yeah, they're not saying these colleges are anti-American. Oh, it's anti. So they're using the Jewish anti-Semitism as a vehicle to not shut down, but to shake down these colleges and these universities' independence. Now, I never went to the Ivy League. Nobody's a fan of the Ivy League colleges, and I think it's all just a club. If you graduate, you get a good job after you leave. But who's doing it actually? The person who's doing it is a group using anti-Semitism as a vehicle to shut down any debate about what's going on in Gaza. Now, you can agree, you cannot agree, but what they're doing is there is a genocide, there's a land grab, and we saw what Israel is capable of. Israel will kill anything and anyone for land. And I am
they're old school then, because that's what we used to do when we were manly, right?
In my heart, I think if the United States ever goes against Israel, they will attack Americans.
You think so?
They already did. They already killed Americans. That girl, Curry Bush, whatever her name was, she got ran over by a caterpillar. Those things that destroy the homes.
Oh.
A lot of Americans get, but we don't say nothing. There's a problem here, guys. Now, what I'm about to say is,
Is it
there's a
wrong to conquer a land by force?
it is not. I mean, what are you conquering? Okay, why are we given the weapons to conquer? You could conquer, but you don't kill everybody. You understand? Oh, why don't you offer them a one-state solution, like what all the empires did? The whole idea is Israel is a parasite. It's like a disease that wants to kill all the healthy
That sounds
cells.
terrible.
It is terrible because
No, I
what
mean,
they're doing is they're practicing ethnic cleansing,
But is that
and
wrong to do
genocide.
that? To like clear out the area of the
Of course,
problem
you
people?
know. Well, it's not a problem. It's their
Now I
land.
don't. I'm not for killing, of course.
The whole
But
idea
it's
is
like
you
a
have to look
war.
at it. It's their land. I mean, that's like me coming, like Mexico coming into Texas and taking part in killing all the Americans there.
So should Hamas
Because
surrender? Because Hamas is part of the problem. Because there would not be a war if Hamas weren't fighting against them, right?
yeah, but there wouldn't be a war if there's no occupation. For
Right.
every
Yeah,
action,
I
there's
get
a
that.
reaction. Yeah.
I'm with that. But let's deal with like it takes two
Okay.
to tango,
I
right?
don't. Let me make it clear because we are living in different. I don't support Hamas, so I don't want
I
to get
know
picked
that.
up tomorrow by Homeland Security. I
Yeah.
hate them. Yeah, I have to say that.
Yeah.
But you have to be a realistic and a pragmatic
But I
person.
mean, but practically speaking, like Israel
What
is
did we do?
in a war with Hamas. Hamas won't
Okay.
stop attacking. Like they attacked, I heard, unprovoked on October 7th.
It's not well.
And so like
This is what is
they crossed
this
the line, and so they're getting the smackdown on them. It's kind of like when the whites do it. There's sometimes every so often there's a white in America who does like a mass shooting, terror attack, and then they go
Yeah, but
after the whites. They go after the whites real hard,
yeah. If you look
and
at
so
it,
everybody
2000
suffers when somebody
and
does something wrong.
no. Israel had a policy. It's called mowing the lawn. When you mow the lawn outside your house,
Uh-huh.
the whole idea was every 3-4 years they go in and destroy all these infrastructures in Gaza. In 2008, they killed 1,400. 2013, they killed about 2,500, 500 children. So every 3-4 years, they were killing these Palestinians. These Palestinians were stuck in an enclave. It's like a jail. If you look at it, go food not allowed into Gaza. Chocolate wasn't allowed. Diapers was not allowed. Their water, their food, everything comes in through Israel. They shut it down. They had them on a diet. That's how evil they are. The diet for Palestinians was 2,200 calories. This is before the October 7th. When you go to the doctor, Hake, he asks you what the symptoms are. He doesn't say he was like, oh, my head hurts here and my stomach and this and that. He go, oh, well, we have to get rid of the disease. We got to give you antibiotics so we prevent all these things you're getting on the side stuff you're getting. That's the only way to cure and let you go home healthy. The cure for this problem is you have to give these people their independence. You can't occupy people for 50, 60 years now and build homes and settlements in their land, kick them out. Even the West Bank, there's no Hamas. So why are the settlers beating up and burning down villages and taking these villages every day since the war?
I don't know what the West Bank is like either at all. There's the West Bank on one side and the Gaza Strip on the other side.
Yeah, the West Bank has no Hamas. They have the PA. They're very
Palestinian
follow
Authority.
Israel.
The Palestinian Authority. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like almost like cronies, like the Vichy government, the France, the Germans. Puppets. That's what they are.
Okay.
But they are following everything they're supposed
According
to, and they still taking villages in the West Bank. Look it up, West Bank violence. These settlers from New York, from Brooklyn, all of them, 80% are from New York. They go in there. There are a bunch of Jewish who are misfits in the United States who could not become doctors or lawyers like their other cousins. So what they do is they go in there and try their manhood on people who have no guns, no weapons, can't fight back, and the military supporting them. If you lift a stick, the military gets the machine gun on you. So it is a cowardice. It is a nation built on a nation.
Where do you get that's what's happening?
In the news, just look, West Bank violence. They burn the whole villages. They burn like 70 cars a day at the whole village.
So they're just poor innocent victims who are just helpless, and so the government is supporting these guys doing this.
They already took over. I don't know, like 10 towns or 10 villages already. Where they harass them, they burn down their houses. They don't let them travel. They don't. If you go, okay, you're a religious person, right?
Yeah.
I want you to go I'll help. I'll give you $1,000. Okay, I'm going to help you go there, but I need you to go to visit Israel, not through the Israeli agency. Go through the Palestinian agency, and they're going to show you everything what's going on. They have walls. They have roads that have plates where the Jews could drive, but Palestinians cannot drive.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a Palestinian 3 hours in a 20-minute ride to get from one village to another, while the Jewish settler who has no business being there drives right through the highway. That is correct. This is weird. Water. Imagine you have these settlements. They have water. They have pools. They have fountains, and the water is coming from Palestinian villages. And the Palestinians only get 1 day. They got to fill up their tanks 1 day. If they don't fill it up enough, it's over for them. It is so discrimination. It's so evil. It's unbelievable. That's why I always say, you cannot be liberal in America. The Jewish Zionist Jews I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
The American Zionist Jews like Schumann, all these. They're all Zionists. Every
Zionist means Israel. What does Zionist mean?
Zionism is the idea of colonial replacement, to replace the Palestinians with the Jews, to settle the land of Palestine with Jews. It started by Christians in the 1880s and 1870s.
Right.
They were called the restorationists, or the restoration, whatever they were called, the movement, and they gave that idea to the Jews.
So therefore expanding Israel into and taking over Palestine.
Yeah, and it's
but
an
it sounds like
it's an ethno state. You cannot be here telling me, oh, we got to be multiculturalism, we got to have homosexuality, we got to do this.
Not for that.
Because you're in America. But you support Israel not having any of that stuff, and you're a staunch supporter of an ethno state.
I don't know. Israel is pretty liberal. They have the homosexuality and all that mess, unfortunately.
You want to see something? You have the Google on you?
No, I mean, I'm not sure if I want to see it. But
you're not going to see nothing. Just put 10,000 pedophiles in Israel. Good.
Oh no, I've heard of things like that where
write it. This is the Israeli Jerusalem Post wrote it. Right, 10,000 pedophiles.
I'm not going to look that up. I'm not interested in that. It's gross.
No, they're not going to show you, but they have 10,000 pedophiles in a country of 5 million.
I don't know. What's that?
Everybody, every kid's butthole is under danger.
Dude, don't talk like that. Don't talk like that.
No, I mean, it is what it is. You got to tell
it's not what it is. It's not what it is. You don't have to talk like that.
It's a sick society. It's built on a lie.
I think that you're going overboard with this stuff.
What is that?
Well, first of all, you're going overboard on my show talking like that. I don't want to hear like that.
Okay, I want to apologize.
Yeah, that's vulgar.
But pedophilia is you could say the word, right?
I don't even really want to. I don't even really want to.
What I want to show you is that how society, you told me, is very liberal. It's not that liberal. It is liberal for Jews, but not for Palestinians.
Right.
This is the problem. It's a two-tier system.
Right.
If you're Israeli, enjoy the Jewish democracy. There's a democracy there, but it's for the Jews. But if you're an Arab, you have a lot of problems. You have no schools in your neighborhood. You have no.
But if they're such great innocent people, how come nobody wants them? I don't think you're telling the whole story, because you're not really telling me how bad the Palestinians are.
Repeat that again.
You're telling me that the Jews.
No,
Jews
you said why nobody wants them.
Why does nobody want the Palestinians? Because they could.
Wait, hold on. Want them for what?
Refugees or anything.
Why should they be refugees? Leave their land and give it to the Jews?
Yeah, because it's so miserable. You told me how bad it is. I would either want to get out of there or find a way to make do.
But it's still you have nationalhood.
You're not telling me why nobody wants them.
There's no reason for everybody to want them. They don't want to leave their land. It's very simple.
You're not telling me what kind of people these Palestinians are. You're telling me all about Israel's Israeli being bad.
Per capita had the highest PhD in the world. They're very educated. Palestinians they're not.
If they're so educated, how come they're so helpless?
They're helpless because they don't have no weapons. We give Israel every $4 billion worth of weapons every year free.
So they're
the Israelis were paying for. If the Israelis were paying for
victims, they're like smart nerds who are just victims.
They are under occupation, my friend.
I know, but you're acting like they're helpless and innocent. But I don't think they're so innocent as you're not even talking about them.
I am talking about it.
You're talking about how hard they have it. You're not talking about how they are. What type of people they are.
Well, you're going to have a reaction.
Are they a problem for Israelis?
When we had, let me give you an example.
Just tell me, are they a problem for Israelis?
They have to be a problem for Israelis.
So yes, they
It's
are a problem for Israelis.
They have to. It's natural. Because they're trying to get them off their land.
And then it's natural for Israelis to be a problem back on them and oppress them, right?
That's not natural because you're being
That is natural.
What's the word you use? Oppression, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm using the word because what you described sounds like oppression, right? And so they might as well oppress them if they're going to be a problem.
Yeah, but
aren't you giving them aren't you giving an excuse to the police when you fight with the police? These blacks, blacks in America, when they fight with the police, they're giving an excuse for the police to.
But the blacks are American. But the blacks are American citizens. They have the same rights we have. They're just idiots. They're just idiots. That's all it is. But they're full-fledged American citizens, right?
Right.
But the Palestinians are not citizens of anything.
So what?
What do you mean, so what? They don't have the right to vote. They're not part of anything. They are under subjugation.
But you're going back to their victimhood. You're not telling me what type of people
they are. It's not victimhood. It's a natural reaction to an occupation. When we had the Boston Tea Party, why did we have it for?
Because we could win.
No, because we win, because we're against the taxes, right?
But we did win.
Okay, but what was our reaction? Not winning.
We won.
No, I know, but I'm trying to give you.
They protested and then they won.
And what happened? We had a movement, Washington. We have a.
Well, I don't even know if that was a protest. That was just an act of vandalism or something, theft and vandalism.
It is to protest taxation, not representation, right?
Yeah. And I don't know anything about the Boston Tea Party, but I don't see Palestine ever winning because I don't see quality people coming out of Palestine, and I don't see quality people protesting on the university campuses for Palestine. None of them are quality people.
Well. You're not being fair. I mean, I don't want to argue with you.
Yeah. But you're not being fair. You're not being fair either, though.
But the whole issue is, how do I be fair for an occupation and subjugation of another human being?
That's life. Life isn't fair. You get occupied, you get subjugated. Look at America. America is getting occupied worse and worse. You know, you talk about how these immigrants are bringing crime and all that stuff, and they're not.
You're forgetting immigrants are coming to a land that's not theirs.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
The Palestinians are there.
It doesn't matter.
Palestinians have been there since Jesus was there.
Yeah.
These guys are the majority of those Israelis are Ashkenazi Jews from Poland, from Prussia, from Russia, they're not native to the land.
Right, but neither were we Americans when we came in and took over from the American Indians.
Yeah, they came to people walking around naked.
Right, we dominated them. What was wrong with that? I don't think it was wrong.
You gave them chicken pox, they all died. They died more of disease than they died of guns.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it was necessarily wrong that we took over and we dominated. It's better.
So, okay, what should the Palestinian do in your view? I don't want
What the Palestinians should do, if I were a Palestinian, I would try to get out of there.
Why? Why get out of there? For what?
Because it's miserable. You just told me you only get water once a week.
Okay, I'm going to make you a deal. There's 7 million Palestinians.
Yeah.
What state do you want to give them?
I don't want a state. I would just go to Jordan or Egypt or somewhere.
Well, they don't want them. Why you don't want? They don't want. I mean, why?
I know. I would sneak in. How come you don't want?
How come you don't want them?
I'm one person. I'm one person, and I would get away some way.
No, I want your opinion.
Yeah.
Since you said the Palestinians should all get out of there, let's give them...
No, I didn't say if they should all get out of there. I said if I were a Palestinian, I would get out of there.
Yeah, but I mean... Oh, no.
Isn't it rough, though? It's a crazy situation.
But it is. That's how struggles are. South Africa had a struggle. All these countries struggled.
Worse off for it.
Algeria lost 1.5 million people against the French because the French settled Algeria for 130 years. They used to say that it's a French territory.
Yeah.
And if we go by your idea that, it's bad, let's leave. No, they fought and they lost 1 million people and they're independent. It is only natural for people to feel they belong to the land, like you and me. We don't want no immigrants to come in our country right now.
But
right?
it's too late. We're helpless to it. And so we either have to bear up
the whole idea,
it.
No, but mentally we don't want them, right? Why we don't want them? Because we love our country, right?
Yeah.
And we don't want, we want to have borders, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. The Palestinians have the same idea. They don't want to be subjugated by Jews from.
But they're not strong enough to fight. They're not strong enough to win their independence. Nor are they decent enough people that they can get enough people on their side.
It's not decency. The
They're-
whole world
I
is
know,
on their
but
side.
no, but they're not.
You,
They're not. They don't have the wherewithal
you
to
know
make
who's
their
the
own
side?
government.
You know who's on the side of Israel?
You know you know who you know the
Look
story of the Old Testament Bible, where the Israelites were in Egypt. The Pharaoh put them in a corner because he didn't like them. The
You
Pharaoh,
believe that stuff?
yeah, no, and then
Do you
what?
believe the Jews
No, no, listen,
build the
listen
pyramids?
to me, listen to me. No, I don't know. I don't know about the pyramids.
Oh, they say.
He put them in a corner,
Yeah.
and they thrived. I don't see the Palestinians thriving in their little corner. He didn't treat them fairly either. The Palestinians are not running their own stuff well. Whether
Palestinians are very
and
okay.
it's
You
not
have
just, and I seriously doubt that it's just because they're getting treated unfairly.
Palestinian. I just told you they have the highest PhD per capita in the world
And they're useless with those PhDs.
because they're under occupation. They can't leave. They can't go. They have, and everything is controlled by the outside. The whole
You have
idea is
control over your own life, with or without rights.
you don't have control. You don't have the resources. Everything comes through a door. It's like you being in a house.
But you're having but you have a can't do attitude. Where's the can do attitude?
They can. They are
A
survive-
PhD with a victimhood attitude is pathetic.
No, but they have university. They have the 99.9 literacy. They're very, they are very
But
educated
that
people.
doesn't do anything if you can't
But they
get
are
your
doing
government running right.
They are doing this under extreme pressure from another occupying forces.
Called
And
Hamas?
let me give you an example.
Called Hamas?
Palestinians in the United States and the Midwest are very successful. They own multi businesses,
Right.
hundreds of businesses. They
Yeah,
are very.
but that doesn't
they
mean they're
are-
decent.
Well, what's
I bet
decent to you? What's decency to you?
I bet you they would elect. I bet you they vote Democrat, which is
Where?
voting in for more destruction here in America.
No, I'm telling you
Yeah, they
that
do. Be honest, Palestinians here in America vote Democrat.
I voted Democrat,
Right.
but they
And
left. but
you voted in for destruction until you realized that Kamala was just
no,
ridiculous.
I'm going to tell you what happened. We
Yeah.
used to be Republicans pre-George W. Bush.
Uh-huh.
The Arab vote, 70%. Look it up. I'm not making it up. It was Republican. We've always been Republicans because of the values that the Republican Party has. You know, we want their values because Christian values are the values that are compatible with our values. You
Right.
know, our children, decency. We don't want no nudity. We don't want
Yeah.
pornography and things of that nature. We want our kids just to learn how to read and write. Everything that you want, we want. But after the Iraqi war and all that stuff, everybody moved to the Democratic Party because of the war in Iraq and all that stuff. But
See,
now
that's lame. That doesn't make
yeah,
any
but they
sense.
realize now that in Dearborn, when they try to change the curriculum, they shut down the whole district, the Arab and Islamic country. They
Right.
shut it down.
Yeah.
In Maryland, they shut it down, the community.
Nice.
It's not like we didn't even have no debates. They shut it down. It's not happening, they say. They say, you know,
Yeah.
they're not going to teach our kids about no, Kathy has two moms, or Jack has two dads, or Kathy is now Jack, and Jack is now Kathy.
Real quick, is it true that the Palestinians are taught and brainwashed to hate the Israelis?
It's not their brainwash. It's just natural reaction.
No, but the kids don't naturally hate anybody. Are they from childhood? Are they taught to hate Israelis?
Well, they're the same thing in Israel.
No. But how about the Palestinians?
It's not taught. You're teaching your
That's taught.
I said shit instead of children. You're teaching your children is that I know that somebody's probably saying that in your
I just remember. I just thought of it because I
it's
saw
a
some video.
national
on X.
reaction to an occupation. What do you do?
You're
What do
calling
you,
it.
do you
You're
teach-
calling it natural, but is it taught to hate them?
You have to teach it to create nationalism in your kids to
So you
the
have to
next
teach.
generation.
You have to teach hatred of this other country.
Not hatred. You're hated of your enemy. You have to hate your enemy.
You teach hatred of your enemy to be
Yeah.
to love your own country.
You have to hate your enemy. If you don't, do I use? Oh, you going with the Christian doctrine and take a slap here, take another slap here. Or what? Well, Muslims don't do that. We don't teach that you could get
Okay,
slapped
so
in the
Muslims
face.
are
and
teaching
say-
their kids hatred of the Jews
We don't hate that
of Israel.
The Palestinians have to show their kids that they are under subjugation, that this is their country, this is their land, and people came from another continent to take it over, and you have to carry on that fight.
You're
for
making
the
it
next
sound so
generation.
nice. You're making it sound so nice.
But it is not. It's not nice.
If the whites taught their kids, this is really your land, but we're occupied, the whites would be called racist and white supremacists, and the government would go after them. which is what's happening
Where?
in America.
Yeah, but if Mexico, you see, you're looking at it differently.
I'm looking at it in terms
the
of
problem
what the
we
kids
have.
are taught.
No. The problem we have in the United States is a domestic problem. We're all equal under the law, right?
Supposedly, not really.
Yeah, but I mean, we have a country. So if you're acting up, then you're being stupid
Right.
for no reason, and you're a criminal because you belong to a state that recognizes you as a human being and gives you every right that Hake has, right?
I don't know what you're talking about now.
No, what I'm talking about is if Mexico took over, it's a different country, took over California, do California have the right to fight back?
No, but we're not talking about that. I'm talking about the teaching of the kids. If Palestinians teach their kids that, oh, you're a country, you're being oppressed, you're poisoning the minds of your kids.
It's not poisoning. You're telling that. Well, I mean, what do you want to tell them to go dance with the soldiers?
Well, sure, they'd be better off.
You're not making no sense. I love you a lot, but I mean, I'm trying to give you. I'm trying to point to you because you're thinking domestic issues.
I'm
telling you.
I'm thinking in terms of what Mexico, the parents and the kids and the type of people that the Palestinians are. And you haven't been honest that the Palestinians are not decent people by and large.
They are decent people.
No, well then, if they're so decent, then why is...
They are religious. They have more values. They don't believe in that LBGTYXY. They don't have that. They don't have all that stuff.
I know, but they have
that on the other side. They don't have no Pride Month. They don't have nothing. They pray and they raise their children right, and they are very educated. What I'm trying to make a point.
I don't think that's true, though.
Are you in California?
No. Let's stick with the quality of the Palestinian people.
I'm trying to make a distinction because you keep on saying that. Look, in the United States, if whites
that's not my point, though. I'm talking about the quality of a person. If a person of quality is in a situation, he knows how to deal with the situation. But these people don't know how to deal with the situation.
What do you mean? Okay, give us the idea.
If they were decent people.
Okay.
The foreign countries, these foreign countries like Jordan and Egypt would not say, we don't want them. They're a problem. Too many of them are terrorists or whatever. But you're not acknowledging that. You're pretending like they're these religious
2 million,
PhDs.
Okay, hold on. There's about 2 million Palestinian in Jordan refugees. You don't know that, right?
I know that there have been enough refugees
There's
already,
a half a million. They already have
and some
these
of them
people.
Some of them turn out to be terrorists, right?
No, they're not. They are part of the country.
Do they never become a problem?
In Jordan?
Right.
They're part of the country. The economy, they're running the country.
They never become a problem?
No.
Then why do they say we don't want any more refugees?
It's not that, because you're going to help the Israel ethnically cleanse them. You're going to play into the playbook. They don't want them to lose their land. If we take them, they lose their land.
Too bad. That's what happens in life.
No, it's not too bad.
Okay, well then you want war.
Okay, the Palestinian.
War. Somebody wants peace. Some of us want peace, and you just want peace. I want peace. I'd be fine if
we have 24 hours a day. Our cargo planes are bringing weapons every day, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
To Israel, free. Yeah.
Nice.
If the Israeli had to pay for those weapons,
because who's going to win the war? But Israel. Israel's going to win the war, whether by hook or by crook.
Well, if they
if you're only prolonging the death and destruction,
there will always be death
to support the fight. And what does a protest do to help anyway? A protest at a university is just dumb.
Our country started with a protest.
No, but the protest at a college campus is a joke.
It's not a joke.
A protest at a college campus is a joke, and it's by indecent people.
What? Okay, I don't know. You keep on saying indecent. I don't know what that means. I mean, do they walk around naked?
Basically. Yeah, they're like the degenerate Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is the same thing as
different. That was different.
No, it's no different. Black Lives Matter is the same thing. These guys are not burning. They're not burning. These guys are not burning cities and burning stores and looting people.
They
will.
No, they're not. Those were going crazy.
Pro-Palestinian and Black Lives Matter is the same thing.
It is not.
They come from the same people.
No, they're
allies. Are they not allies?
Well, I mean, they're not allies, but anybody could join a protest.
Exactly.
You can't tell them don't come.
I specifically remember pro-Hamas, pro-Black Lives Matter, pro-Palestine people protesting 10 years ago under Obama. Oh, I support Hamas. This guy is like at a Black Lives Matter protest, for Hamas, harassing the police
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all that stuff.
Okay.
So these are not decent people.
I don't know what decent. You keep on saying
Because
decent.
decent does not support
Can you
Black
look at
Lives
the
Matter.
Can you
And
put what, decent? Can you give me? Could you look at the dictionary? See what decent means?
no, I don't really have time. I want to get to some calls.
I just want. I want to see what it is.
Decent means moral, peace-loving, not hating anybody.
Okay.
But they hate the Jews. They hate the conservative Jews. They hate Bibi Netanyahu. They hate
Bibi
the
Netanyahu is a war
Zionists.
criminal.
They hate,
But on the international,
I don't care.
in the court, in international law in Europe,
That's a fake court.
They have a warrant. Why is it a fake court when the guy has killed 20,000 children, but between the age of 5 and 7 in 1 year? What are you talking about?
I don't buy that.
Why you don't buy it?
Because that's propaganda.
It is not. The United Nations.
Because you're not telling the whole story.
Confirm it. What's the whole story? You have almost 75,000 people dead.
The whole story is Hamas embeds themselves among the populace and fires off rockets from those areas, right? Is that true?
Hamas.
Is it true?
It's a resistant. What do you mean it's true? It's all residential.
Yes,
what about
true.
Israel? What do you think Israel has their bases? Inside Tel Aviv?
Whatever.
Oh, but it's okay with them, right?
Are you pretending that Hamas doesn't?
I think you're biased.
Themselves?
I think you're
Of course, I'm
biased.
biased. I'm biased.
Why would you be biased? Why?
Why
would you be on the side?
Are you not biased?
No, I'm on the right of right.
Please. You're not even. You can't even admit that. Okay, I can admit that the Israelis may do some wrong.
Listen to me.
But you didn't even admit that the Palestinians did any wrong. You're saying, oh, it's natural.
No, to kill. I'm gonna be. Let's set the record straight.
Yeah, and then we'll get to calls.
If you kill any civilians, you're absolutely wrong. Anybody.
Not necessarily.
So it's okay for you to kill civilians then?
Not for me, but in a war, civilians get killed.
So why Hamas can't kill civilians then? If that's if it's a war?
I'm sure they have.
But you're saying they're bad, right?
Right.
But the Israelis could kill civilians, I guess.
Well, they have in a war. They have.
But it's okay. It's okay with you.
I mean, they're in a war. What do you expect?
Well, Hamas is in a war. What do you accept?
But they started a war, right?
They didn't start it. They are trying to. Okay, we're gonna get stuck in.
I know. All right. Very interesting, man.
Do you have any questions, guys?
Yeah, definitely. Let's get to some calls.
I gotta have a private conversation with you. I gotta teach you everything.
Anthony in SoCal is on the line here. Anthony, you're live with Third Rail with Omar. What's up, man?
Hey, Omar. Hey, Hake.
Hey.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Of course.
Hi, buddy. How are you?
Doing well, man. I love the discussion so far. I'm learning a lot. And
Yeah.
I was curious, Omar, do you condemn Hamas?
Do I condemn Hamas? Well, I have to say yes
Correct.
right now because they're considered a terrorist organization under the United States law. But but I'm gonna tell you, I condemn Hamas. I condemn their attack on innocent men, women, and children. But if they're trying to liberate their country, this is their right to do. Under international law, they are a terrorist organization. You know that, right?
Yeah, so why do you say you have to say yes? I mean, do you really
No,
mean
but
no?
they're
You
not.
don't
Only the
condemn
United
them, but you
States have
to
them
say
on
yes?
only us. We have them on this list.
That's my
But,
that's my same metric because you're saying that under normal circumstances they wouldn't be considered terrorists.
Right now,
and under
right
normal
now.
circumstances, Bibi wouldn't be considered a war criminal because that's just the International Criminal Court. They're dumb globalists. They don't even love America.
What am I doing?
I don't know. You went away from. You had it perfect, and then you.
Yeah, I'm such
jumped away.
an idiot. Okay.
You boomer.
Yeah. we are
Come
boomers.
back and then move it back up.
Yeah, I'm
Because you're down
trying,
at the
man.
bottom.
Get up there, Omar. Get up
And
there.
then shift yourself to one side a little bit again.
Yeah.
So you don't really believe that Hamas is what America is trying to portray them. They're not.
Yeah, the United States uses these lists just for foreign policy.
Okay, and
that's all it is.
are Hamas friends of the Palestinians?
Are they friends of? They are Palestinians.
Right, and are they friends of the Palestinians? Because if
They are
you
they are
can be
the
you can be
children.
white but anti-white, or you can be white and exploiting whites. You can be
No,
black
no.
and exploiting blacks. You can be black and an enemy of blacks.
But they are the children of the Palestinians. They are from
brainwashed
the
kids, right?
They're not brainwashed. It's called a revolution. Every country went through. We did the same thing. We
But
killed all the
revolutions
red.
are not necessarily good. Are you able to mute that, or do you have to get that?
What?
The phone. The
Yeah, I
phone's ringing.
dropped it. You know I'm disabled, right?
Yeah, no worries. Okay, what's your follow-up question, Anthony?
Go ahead, Anthony.
So sorry, Hake. So I just want to clarify. So yes or no? Do you condemn Hamas, Omar?
I feel like he has to be he doesn't.
I have to condemn it because I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
No. Hake, this is bizarre, man. We live in America.
I'm gonna tell you something.
I know, but America is not free.
Answer. Sure,
you don't have it because you have the Jewish mafia controlling your country, my friend. You think you really control your country?
I support them. Go ahead.
I don't know why they got you. They killed your God, and you all of a sudden you're gonna. Maybe you guys are traumatized.
That was on purpose. He died on purpose.
Yeah. No, he didn't.
For all of us.
He didn't die. Anyway, what I'm trying to say, Anthony, is that
Anthony finds it odd.
Anthony, the question you should ask, you should ask, do they have the right to resist? That's the question you should ask me. You're doing the Piers Morgan question. Do you condemn Hamas? He did that for a whole year. I condemn any killing of any innocent people, whether Jews or Muslims or Arabs, whatever. But do the Palestinians have the right to resist? Absolutely. Under international law, under human rights, even the United Nations sees Hamas as a resistant movement. They don't see them as terrorists. You cannot just put names on people you don't like. Or you understand?
Sure. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, Omar, my family's from Egypt. I mean, we know these games. And we understand the games that are being played, just to be frank and clear. If I may, a few things I want to mention is, I don't know if Omar, your appearance is related to the recent Al Jazeera broadcast this week where Muslim clerics, leaders of the Muslim Brotherhood, Dr. Tariq al-Swaidan, who, he has a PhD from some Islamic university studying Sharia. But they are declaring that all Muslims are forbidden from making permanent peace with enemies of Allah, insisting that they must continue until Judgment Day. And they reference a verse from the Quran which says, "O you who have believed, do not take the Jews and the Christians as allies. They are, in fact, allies of one another. And whoever is an ally to them among you, then indeed he is one of them. Indeed, Allah guides not the wrongdoing people."
Yeah, okay. I could give you, I don't have the verse. I could give you a verse that the Christians are the closest to you in faith and all that stuff.
They say the
these guys.
The Quran says Christians are lower than insects. What are you talking about, Omar?
Lower than what?
Insects.
No, they are okay. Let's not.
The white Americans may have.
They are people. They are called dhimmis. They are people of the book. They have every right to exist.
King David called him. King David called
himself
a worm.
We can eat your food. We can eat the Jewish food. We are allowed to because you are Christian. I don't know. I could give you a verse. I don't have it. Next time I bring you a lot of verses. Anyway, these people who say that.
I could bring verses.
Hold on. I don't want to get into a religious debate.
I understand. Because
if you want a religious debate, we'll have it on a different day.
This is really religion.
And I'll be prepared for. And I'll be prepared for that. What I'm telling you is, who cares what these people say? Okay, hold on. Who
is a militant group
who is this? Hamas?
Desire to conquer as much land as they can.
Who's that?
For Islam as a whole.
Oh,
okay.
It's about conquering land.
Exactly. Yeah. It's conquering land and subduing the Jews and Christians.
Is that how you feel, Omar? Personally?
Yeah, I want to ask him a question though.
Can you answer that question?
No. I'm going to ask you. You said they're conquering, right? Okay, since 1990, we attacked. Hold on. No. I got to tell you, you said they're conquering. Let's see who's conquering who and who's killing who. We got to be honest.
Here's a commie narrative. Okay, let's hear it.
It's not a commie. It's the truth. Weapons of mass destruction. We went into Iraq. We destroyed a whole country, killed almost 1 million Iraqis for no reason under the lie. We're wrong. We went to Afghanistan. We could have had used special forces and killed what's his name? Bin Laden without any problem. But we went through the stupid thing of nation building. We killed a lot of Afghanistani people for 20 years. Then at the end, we ran away and left about $7-8 billion worth of weapons. You understand? So we are always the aggressor.
Meaning America.
Yeah,
yeah. We went into Vietnam. We went into Vietnam. We went into Vietnam. Hold on. We went into Vietnam. We killed about 2 million people. We went to Korea, 2 million people.
But we didn't keep their land, unfortunately.
So we are the aggressor, really.
How many caliphates did Muhammad have?
Caliphates?
What is it?
How many caliphates did it?
I'm talking about today. You're talking about the 14th century.
Caliphate is a kingdom, right?
Islam was spread. Islam came out. Okay, I'm gonna make it easy for you.
Is there something wrong? Is there something wrong with conquering, having the principle that I want to conquer land, Omar?
That was the rule book for all. The Byzantine Empire did the same thing. The Roman Empire did the same thing. Caesar did the same. Caesar went to Egypt. That was the rule of the day.
Right.
Khan, that guy, what's his name? The crazy guy, Khan.
So that's why I called
religion for the basis of an Abrahamic, for the basis of a so-called Abrahamic quote unquote religion.
But you have to understand, Islam. There was no forced conversion. Nobody was forced to convert. All you have to do is pay Jizya. That's it.
We pay a tax. We take your land and tax you.
No, you pay a poll tax.
Right.
When you said you're from Egypt, when the Muslim went to Egypt, the Byzantine were oppressing the Coptic church. The Pope Benjamin was exiled to the desert. Their churches were closed.
Omar, hold on. Let me just tell you one thing. I for one will not judge you if you believe in taking over land religiously. I don't believe in that. Okay, well,
in this day and age, no.
But I personally, religiously or otherwise, am not necessarily against that. Because I see that that's real life. That's what's happening in America.
So should we take over Mexico?
No, but listen to me. It's already happening to America. It's happening to Palestine. It's happening to the Ukraine. It's happening to all the white European countries.
Well, okay, it's a difference. Over. What's happening to America? Who's taking over America?
The foreigners and anti-whites.
But are they governments? Do they have guns?
They're gonna. They basically embedded in the government.
It's a different thing. Ukraine,
but this is by hook or by crook. It's getting taken over.
No, but this is orange and apple. Ukraine is being attacked by military with weapons, real weapons.
Yeah, and that's what happens. That's what happens in the world, right? And I'm not
different government.
Who am I to judge?
What we're getting here is mass immigration. It's a difference. We could get rid of them if we wanted to, and the problem is we don't know how to do it.
They don't have the wherewithal.
Trump is failing at it. Obama.
I feel like this is sort of this conversation about the religion thing sort of reminds me of the criticism
don't bring it up.
No, hold on. Let me make this point.
Well, this is the basis of it. Go ahead, Hake. Sorry.
So a lot of times people criticize the Jews and bring up what the Jews supposedly believe about Jesus, that he's boiling in hell and stuff like that. And I've never heard a Jew say that. I don't know if they think that. I don't even know if most of them know that or think that or whatever.
Read the Talmud.
I know, but that doesn't mean that Netanyahu thinks that, for example. It doesn't mean anything, really. It's kind of irrelevant. Those people.
Why are you defending such evil? Why are you defending evil?
It's not that I'm defending. It's like I don't care or know what they actually believe.
They say Jesus is born in excrement and that the Virgin Mary is a whore. They say that.
No. But hold on. Some people. It's funny because now you're jumping on the Jews.
Believe that, right?
You're jumping on the Jews when I'm kind of defending the Muslims here.
Because he worships a bloodthirsty God that teaches them to kill them and slaughter the Christians. That's why.
Because look,
where did they slaughter the Christian? Where?
I only hear the people who hate the Jews bring that up about what the Jews believe.
I don't hate the Jews.
No, I know.
I hate Zionism.
I know, but
Jews is a different thing. Judaism is
Zionists, whatever.
They're peace-loving people.
They're peace-loving people, but if you read their Talmud, according to you, they all believe that.
Listen,
do they all believe that, or do you care if they believe that?
But they study it all day in their temples.
Do you care if they believe that?
Well, it has nothing to do with me. It's your God they're talking about. They're talking about your God, not mine.
He's the son of my God.
He's a prophet to us. Right. But there's nothing we could do. But if they're telling you that your God is burning in excrement
it's not my
in hell,
God. It's the son of my God.
Omar, Omar, the best
Isn't
part
Jesus
is
God?
the
Come on,
prophet
guys. You
that
guys
in
are
the
confusing
Quran-
us over here. Huh?
In the Quran, Omar, Jesus will come and judge on Judgment Day. How amazing
Yes.
is that?
Yeah, we are waiting Jesus.
You can't get away
Muslims.
from him. As much as you guys dislike him, you cannot get away from him.
Wait,
But
is
you
that
see,
what
that's-
what the Quran says?
Yeah, we're
It
waiting
does.
for him to come.
So
what are you
it
talking
says that,
about?
but it also says that the Christians are lower than insects.
Yeah, because it's a contradictory book made by
Where it
7th
says that?
century
Where it
caravan
says that?
robbers.
Can I have it? Where it says that low in insects? You just making
I didn't
stuff
know
up.
you're Egyptian, Anthony.
Yeah, I was the Coptic guy that called in.
Okay.
That's why you see the Coptics.
telling
The
you
Copts
about
would be okay. You're a Copt. What happened when the
Here we go.
Muslims came
Now
into?
he's going to talk. Now he's going to talk about how they slaughtered us and kidnapped us and raped
No,
us.
Are
they
you gonna
didn't slaughter
brag?
you.
Are
They
you gonna
didn't-
brag?
And years and years.
No,
yeah,
no. These people, the Copts, they're making things
just
up.
like how
So,
he did to Pompeo.
this is funny.
Just like how he. Just like
Listen
what he
to
did
me.
with
Hey,
Pompeo.
No, hold
hey,
on.
please.
Let him talk. Let me hear Anthony.
Even though the Yemens were conquered and colonized by Muhammad after he raped and pillaged Yemen and subdued them with the Sabians, and you know that. And now,
That is a lie.
you play games for them.
That is a
Now
lie.
you
The
show
Yemenis,
favoritism. Now you're their puppet.
The Yemenis all converted without any invasion. This is the problem with the Copts. You guys
You
don't
don't know
appreciate
your
the
history, man.
Muslims. Listen, when the Muslim
No,
went to Egypt, listen. Look at
Omar. To this
Listen,
day,
hold
to
on.
this day,
Hey, when you get a
Coptic
chance later,
have to
just
mark
say,
their
what did the
children so
Muslim
that
do when they
Muslims don't
entered Egypt?
kidnap
That's
them
it.
and
Just say
rape
that,
them.
okay?
One at a time. One at a time. Go ahead,
But he's
Anthony.
not letting me talk. He's
I
making
know,
things up.
but he's saying
I'm
to
talking
this-
facts.
I know, but you jumped in when he was talking. Let me finish. Let me do Anthony and then Omar, and
He's
then
not
we'll wrap
making-
up
he's lying.
into the rest of the callers. We'll let him lie though, because sometimes you have to let people lie, and then calmly say no, that's not true afterwards.
It is not true. I want to
I know, but
answer.
let
He
me
said a
hear-
lot of stuff.
let me
He
hear-
said a lot of stuff.
I know,
Go
but
ahead. He's the
everything
caller.
that-
We got it.
I know,
No,
but
he's
you
the
say a
caller.
lot of stuff, and I say a lot of stuff, and everybody should know
All right,
not to
Anthony,
believe what they
listen.
hear on the Hake report.
All right, Anthony, go. We
All
don't
right,
want to lose
Anthony.
the whole hour again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Omar, to this day, Coptics still force their children to have a tattoo of a cross on their wrist, so that when the Muslims kidnap them and try to sell them as slaves, no one buys them because no one's going to buy a slave with a cross tattooed on them.
Who's the richest man in Egypt?
Great answer to my question. I like it.
Who's the richest? He's a Copt. What slaves? What are you talking about? What are you? You live in a dungeon here in the United States? Where do you live? In a basement? There is no slavery. What's wrong with you? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Can
Okay.
you
There's
give us a
slavery.
link?
Come on, there's slavery.
Okay.
Give us
All
a
right.
link that the cops are being sold as. Come on, we need a fact checker.
Okay,
Where's
so,
the
Omar,
Where's the
Omar,
anchor
in the
baby
past-
here? Bring the anchor baby out
No,
here.
no, hold
In
on.
the past 20 years, how many churches were bombed in Egypt?
I have no idea, but I'm going to tell you something.
No. I want to hear his answer. Then.
More than 200. More than 200. 2 weeks ago, a bishop visiting from Greece was shot in the head and kidnapped while he was visiting a monastery.
Can we have a link?
All right, this is a constant issue.
We need a link.
No, we don't
We
need
need
a
proof.
link. You can,
Yes, we
you can
need
look,
proof.
Look
We
it up
got- we
later.
got
Look it
talk-
up later. He's not. The caller doesn't sound like he's making stuff up.
Yes, he is making
No,
stuff.
that's Hake, I talk with these guys a lot. All they could do is gaslight because really,
Okay,
what's being represented is
Anthony,
pure.
I tell you what. Once you come to my channel, we debate one day.
I find it funny.
I'd love to.
I find it funny
Huh?
that we get.
Why
To,
don't you come and debate me, and I will defeat you, and I'll show that everything you said is a lie. Can I talk right now? Can I answer a little bit?
Yeah,
I
real
haven't
quick,
answered
real
nothing.
quick.
Oh, me
This
real
is
quick, buddy.
gaslighting, man. Go ahead.
Hake. When the Muslims entered Egypt, the Byzantine Empire ruled over. The Coptic Pope was exiled by the Byzantine. Their churches were closed. They were being beat up or oppressed by the Byzantine Empire. When the Muslim entered, they brought back the Pope Benjamin from the desert to Egypt. They opened all their churches, and they lived in perfect harmony. As a matter of fact, the Coptics were the majority of Egypt until the 10th century. 4 centuries it took before they become a minority. They
you
had
know
to
what?
pay us back.
I'm zoning out. I find myself zoning out this because I don't know or care about this topic.
Yeah, but I'm giving you facts.
I
He's
know,
talking about
but facts
slaves.
don't matter to me.
I don't know what slaves are. What slaves? We thought slaves are kidnapping people. Where we live in the 15th century?
But you were definitely reacting to it. Nobody's reacting to what you're saying because we're falling asleep over here. Let's
Because I'm
talk
telling
about
you
something
facts.
else. I
Okay,
know
go ahead.
facts are boring.
All right, let's go to the next guy. We don't want to go ancient
But
history here.
let me give Anthony the last word. Go ahead, Anthony.
Thank you, Hake. Lastly, for the audience, anyone listening, you should not have any hate or envy or dislike towards Muslims or Omar or anyone. Omar, we love you, man. You're a great guy.
Yeah.
Keep it
Yeah, it's
up.
okay. I love you, but I want you to be factual,
No,
my
but
friend.
let
That's
me
all.
let me just let him finish, and then we'll hang up with him.
Yeah, Omar, everything I said is 100% factual. It's a life I lived. It's a life my parents lived.
I
It's the
will
reason why
invite
they
you any
immigrated
day
here
to my
legally.
channel. Why don't you come to my
We
channel?
already
We
heard you the
discuss
first
it.
time. We already heard you the first time. The invitation's
right.
open.
And yeah, last thing I want to say, Muslims are also Americans. We love them. There's no difference. There's no distinction.
Shout
Islam
out.
is the issue, though. That's all I have to say.
I
Thank
think
you,
it's a
Anthony.
human- Thank you, man.
God bless you, man.
Take care. Nice. Oops. Anthony in SoCal. A quick super chat before I get back to the calls. Terry bought a coffee saying Happy May Day to Hake. Communist holiday. Or it has become communist.
You're a communist today, huh?
Yeah. And third rail with Omar. Happy May Day to you. And happy May Day to the beautiful Snake Pit. That's my live chat. And by the way, Hake is live on pilled.net for the first time ever. I'm
glad you succeeded in
He's
Hake.
busy. So good.
I'm glad you succeeded.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I really do. Remember that time they had you all blocked and everything?
Oh, yeah. That was brutal.
Yeah. That time when I had you, everybody was telling me, "Oh, don't bring him. You're going to lose your channel." I said, "Yeah, let me bring the guy."
Nice.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Let's keep it moving. Oh, you know what?
How's the chat? They love me this week or they hate me? Because
the chats are like it's a mix. They think
I think
they think
they
I
love
brought
me
it.
last time,
They
yeah.
think that caller was Jewish.
Yeah, they know he's making stuff
But
up.
he's a
He's
Coptic
lying.
Christian. No, I don't believe that. I
would
think that
debate
you guys have
anytime.
I think you guys have a beef that I don't really understand.
I don't have any beef with anybody. I just historically, I'm going to give you. I
No,
promise you.
let's keep it moving.
Hey, I promise you that every time I say something, I will not try to make it a propaganda or lie. I promise you that.
Right on.
Okay.
Let me make sure that I have Joel Friday scheduled for his
even if it's
redirect.
against me.
Joel, I don't see your show. Are you sure? Are you sure it's not private? Make sure it's public. Joel Friday. Okay. Anyway, let me go to Justin in California on the line here. Justin, thank you for calling out of Fullerton, I believe, California.
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my call, Omar. Yeah. Thanks for allowing me to speak with you. I hope we have a peaceful conversation and it's beneficial for both, okay?
No problem. Welcome to the Hake Report.
Okay. Yes, it is. This is beneficial and edifying. This is where we learn and we grow and people share their heart. And so for me, I like to share my heart as a father, a Christian father in America. We don't hate Islam and we don't hate Muslims. The children that we raise with the scriptures. And I don't know too much about Islam except they don't seem to raise their children, the fathers I'm talking about, in a way that we do. And here's the scripture that I wanted to share with you from Colossians 3 in verse 20. It says, "Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well-pleasing unto the Lord."
Yep.
Amen. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. And I don't have to read more. You can read in context the whole scripture, but
was that Ephesians?
We want our children. Colossians.
Really?
Chapter 3, verse 20, talks about different way we should treat one another within our church. Husbands, it says like to love your wives, don't be bitter against them, don't hit them, right? Servants, obey your masters, different kinds of categories. But with regards to the way a father should raise his child is not within bitterness or brooding over enemies, telling them to kill the enemies.
That's fathers and mothers, by the way, not just when they say fathers, that means parents.
We don't do that, my friend. We don't raise our kids to hate anybody.
No, I mean the fathers need to teach and need to lead, and the children need to respect the father and obey. And
Islam is a very disciplined. It's a very disciplined religion. They, a matter of fact, they get in trouble with the child services sometimes because they're so strict on their children here in the United States.
Good. Okay.
I mean, if you try to...
Okay, but let me hear Justin wrap up his point.
Yeah, go, Justin. You're absolutely right, Justin. I agree with you 100% on raising kids the right way.
Right. So when we have enemies, many of the fathers have already enemies, but to teach children that those same enemies will be your enemies can propagate and prolong bitterness, dissent, hatred, violence, anger can grow into killing. And so, yes, this is the case with the Arabs. Different lands like the Philistines have fought against the Israelites for many years in the past, and they're doing it again.
Yeah.
But they need to understand that this is a teaching that doesn't need to be propagated or prolonged because it only ends in bloodshed.
Nice.
That's what Jesus taught. And Yeshua is his name, not Isa. Isa is a name that a lot of Muslims, say is Jesus, but that's not the same Jesus of the Bible, of his Bible.
I want to ask you something.
And why do you make that distinction about Yisa versus Yeshua?
Because I think the Muslims should learn about Jesus in English, but in Yeshua being the name that the Israelites, the Jews, speak the name, is a different name than Muhammad spoke about Isa. I don't know who Isa is. He is not the same that he is a prophet, but he is not the Son of God, the Son that died on a cross and rose again.
So
death.
They're using a different name, and it doesn't actually mean Jesus.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Did you know, Jason? Did you know that the only prophet who's still alive in Islam is Jesus, and that we are waiting his return?
Moses. You mean Moses? Moses is a prophet.
No.
Jesus
the
is
last,
not a prophet.
the only I'm talking about alive right now that never died.
The prophecies.
All the prophets died.
The word
Muhammad
of
died.
God.
Everybody died.
One
Jesus
God.
did not.
One God and one word. That's what I'm saying. Not the prophet and the teacher and a rabbi.
No, I'm telling you what I believe is.
Said.
I'm trying to, just an answer. I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate what you're saying.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that from our point, we see Jesus as the greatest, mightiest prophet who cured the sick, the lepers, who brought people back, but by the will of God, not on his own.
Right.
And that he was never killed.
That's what he said too.
No, he was never killed or murdered or stuck to. God raised him ascended him to the heavens, and it looked like that they were killing him.
Oh, so the Jews didn't even kill him.
Well, that's what we always say. The Jews, you could accuse them of attempted murder. Not you guys could if you took them to court, we say attempted murder. They try to kill him, but we're waiting for Jesus' return. All of us, like the Christians are, we're saying that Jesus will come back and make a kingdom on earth before the end of time comes. So if Christians are waiting Jesus, that means they have close belief to what the Christians do. You guys are waiting Jesus, right?
Hake? I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You don't know your Bible?
Yeah, I mean the Bible could be interpreted that way, but
Jesus will come from Damascus, Syria. He will come down and kill the.
But I think his main point was that fathers don't provoke your children to anger, that's what the Palestinians are doing because they're thinking that that's
they have every right to do it. That's an
They have a right to do it, but they're not right to do it.
They have every right to do it.
They have a right to do it, but they're wrong to do it.
If it's in reverse, the Palestinians will charge Jizya. A Jizya would be charged upon the Israelite if the Palestinians, the Philistines, were in power. They would convert them, or they would charge them a tax.
Yeah, but we don't have a Khalifa. It's a state. It's going to be a strictly. The whole idea is that I believe it or not, I swear to God, I've been for one state solution all my life. I think the Jews and the Palestinians should live under a democratic state with equal rights and build their countries and just live in
because
peace.
that means that it's going to get taken over by the Palestinians because they vastly outnumber the Jews.
They have more babies, right? They have more babies, right?
Yeah, and they don't know how to raise them.
How do we police the Zionists? If we have more babies, they're
I think
scared.
it should be more like South Africa. I think it should be apartheid where the white Jews run things, and then the Palestinians are kind of second class, but
Well,
they're happy, they have jobs, they have a functioning
What do you mean second
land.
class? Do you listen to yourself when you say that?
Yeah, because listen, in South Africa, they had apartheid,
Yeah,
right?
they control everything right now. The blacks control everything
I
right
know,
now.
and they're running it into the ground. Under apartheid,
doesn't matter.
under the apartheid, the whites ran things, and it was functioning. They had jobs.
I'm going to ask you a question.
The
I
blacks
want you
were
to be
second
honest.
class. It wasn't necessarily fair, but it was a much better run country.
Hake, I'm going to ask you a question,
And
my friend.
isn't that sometimes better than equal rights?
No, it's not. I'm going to ask you a
How
question.
is it not better?
I'm going to ask you
Look
a question.
at what they
but I
have
want you
right now. Isn't it miserable?
I want you to be honest.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Omar. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm an American citizen, right?
Yeah.
Should I be a second-class citizen to you because you're white?
Maybe, I don't know. You vote kind of badly.
It doesn't matter, but
yes.
in your eyes, should we be second class? Should we have like a caste system?
Maybe so. I don't know.
You know, white is not a race. You know that, right?
Yeah. Whatever.
It's not a race.
I mean, if whatever, but it doesn't matter. We can still we can call it a race if we want to. It's our country, right?
White was created. The word white came to the dictionaries in 1680.
Right, because we had this diversity problem.
No, you had the Bacon Rebellion when the poor whites united themselves with the poor blacks and the slaves and the indentured servants.
What a mess!
And attacked Virginia and burned it down to the ground. The white elites. The white elites feared poor whites. So they just created
just like in Egypt, they feared the Jews, so they enslaved them. And Moses
what I'm saying is that when they did that, it was bad when they did that because they lost all the cultural values that whites had. If you're German, you had a different culture.
I know, but that's boring stuff. If
you're Anglo-Saxon, they just gave you a blank slate. I'm white, like the blacks. I'm black because they have no place. They don't belong to any place. They just made you equal with the blacks.
But there's no harm in that because look at how the whites vote per capita. They're the only race that votes more sensibly than the rest of the people. So whatever the case, you guys
are the majority. You vote presidents in. You don't have no say.
Anyway, interesting, man. Interesting. Thank you, Justin in California. Appreciate that, man.
All right, buddy. Thank you for the call.
Yeah, one more thing. I think the Muslims should not collect the welfare from the UK or the US if they continue to charge a jizya to the world that doesn't convert.
There is no jizya. Where's the jizya? What are you talking about? Who's
what do you mean? What am I talking about? Look in
who's
Syria.
charging jizya? Give me one country. Give me one country
that slaughter them, or you tell them to pay a tax.
Give me one country that's charging jizya. Can you give me one country right now?
Because you're poor.
What's a jizya? That's a tax for not being Muslim.
It's a poll tax.
Tell them, bro. You enslave the people, force them to believe in a religion.
Where is this happening? So we could stop it.
By the blood of their.
Where is it happening? So you can go stop it. Where is it happening right now?
You come to the UK and the US and you ask for our welfare. You take from us, but you also enslave us. You're not the same in a country.
I'm going to tell you that
the nation of America or the nation of Egypt or Syria or any country, you dominate them. You don't convert them. There's no teaching.
There is no jizya tax. That's
like there's no jizya tax.
That's the 6th century.
Why am I mentioning this then? Because I don't know.
Because you just read something and you think it's happening. That's why you're ignorant of the facts. That's what it means.
You charge a jizya tax?
Can you give me one country that's charging jizya so we can look it up? Give me one country.
You should charge a jizya to live in their land.
Give me one country that's charging jizya right now.
And America should not give out their tax money to the infidel that comes to our countries, trying to convert us to their religion of their land, where they're not even welcome to live peacefully.
Right? Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm the most successful guy probably on this chat right now.
Hatred, and their children teach them hatred, right?
Yeah, that's not. See, that's the problem.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
My son is engaged to an Irish Canadian. Listen,
hopefully they don't charge a tax to
First of all, there is no jizya, and second of all,
how do you spell it? Somebody spell it for me.
Jizya, G-Y-Z-A. Just look at the jizya, the poll tax, Muslim poll tax.
They charge the equivalent. They think they're like a goyim, like they think they're.
Yeah, but we have to pay zakah. You don't have to. In that time, you don't have to.
It tells me that's a musical artist.
Yeah.
You don't know, but
G-Y.
No, just what Muslim charge Christians and Jews. That's it.
Muslim
For
tax.
what? To live peacefully in their land.
what's his
Jizya?
Yeah. What's his name? What's your name, brother? I forgot your name. I'm sorry. So I address you.
Justin.
Can you name me one country with Jizya that's happening right now? Where? Give me a country, please, before you go.
Are you gone, Justin?
No, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you attempt to name one country?
That they charge a jizya?
Yeah. Right now.
Okay. Right now in Syria, the Christians have to pay or die. Syria.
Nice.
2025.
Oh my God, such ignorance. That's why the Americans are blessed with ignorance. Go ahead, next.
All right, Justin, thank you, man.
The blessing for ignorance is Islam. The blessing of intelligence is from God. Yeshua.
Yeah, we have dummies too. I'm not saying we're smart, all of us.
Praise be to God, Jesus Christ, one God.
Nice.
That's good. Yeah, God bless you, man.
Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it.
God bless you and free the people
I'm not gonna, that's your
from
faith.
the oppression
I'm gonna
of Islam.
respect it. I'm gonna respect it 100%.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care.
Amen.
Yeah.
Nice.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right. Oh man, he got me with the click. Wow. Okay, so a couple of more super chats. Let's see. Before I get back to the oh my goodness, terrible. Pardon me. Over on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report, Amazing Asia bought a coffee. So did Manuel. Manuel says, Omar still owes me money, Hake. Doge found $4.7 trillion in wasted money.
Oh my God.
I take 100s. I take hundreds. Did you bet him like $1,000 or something? I forget what this bet was with Manuel. Bought me 5 coffees. He won.
I'm gonna tell you. No, I don't know better than, but he's misinformed. There's no 4.7 trillion. What's his name? Moss just said the other day it's 150 billion when he was sitting with the cabinet, and that is not even real. Those numbers, we're gonna have to investigate. He didn't save nothing. He just fired a couple thousand workers. Oh, we save money. He cost the Treasury 135 million dollars. Look it up. I'm not making it up. Because of the chaos that happened and the overpay, because he had to repay the people.
But we're not talking about saving money. Doge found.
They didn't find it. That's a lie.
No. But listen to this: $4.7 trillion in wasted money.
I don't know.
So you're saying that's not true?
Of course, it's not true.
But how do you figure that it's not true?
Okay, tell him to give us the proof. He's the one who made the statement, right?
But you're saying that it's not true.
I know it's not, but I want proof.
But how do you know that it's not true?
Because I'm a guy who reads and writes and follows the news and follow politics all day.
Right, but that doesn't mean that you've come across the information of whether it's true or not.
Elon Musk himself said $150 billion. The guy who's responsible for Doge.
I know, but that was not what he found in terms of wasted money. 150 billion is what he supposedly saved so far. But we're talking about $4.7 trillion in wasted money.
On what? What wasting? That's
no, but you don't know what, and so that means that you don't know if it's true or not.
No, it's not true.
But how do you know that it's not true? Just because I know
it doesn't make our whole income is $7 trillion. That means everything we spend is no good. That's almost our whole income.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He's just making that up.
Because that's not 4.7 trillion per year necessarily. This is 4.7 trillion period in wasted money.
No, that's how much we spend.
I could believe that.
Our budget for the year is like $7 trillion.
I don't know, man. Manuel sometimes gets stuff wrong, but I don't think he's necessarily. I can't prove him wrong on this. I can't say that he's wrong.
All you have to do is just Google. You have a computer in front of you, my friend.
Google is evil. It's liberal.
Okay, ChatGPT.
That's liberal too. AI is
then then what are we going to give you information?
I can't even trust Grok. Grok is liberal.
Yeah, I don't use that. Yeah. I use ChatGPT.
Wow. I use Grok just because
I read all the papers.
I support Elon Musk. Do you support Elon
subscription.
Musk? Huh? Do you support Elon Musk?
I don't like him.
I'm surprised you don't like him.
I lost $36,000.
Oh, really? How?
For stocks, the idiot.
Oh, don't worry. Hold on to it. It'll come back up.
I sold that. I got Nevada. You know Nvidia? What's it called?
Nvidia? You bailed on Elon Musk? No loyalty. Where's your loyalty?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I swear to God, what I'm saying is true.
You don't seem like a disloyal guy. I'm surprised at you.
Listen how I'm an idiot. In 2020, when the stocks all dropped, I bought a lot of Alibaba for like $90.
Uh-huh.
I spent 89,000. This is, I swear to God, what I'm telling you is true. And it went up to 142,000. Then the Chinese government arrested the chairman. Then it went down to $80. I jumped to a lot of stocks and I lost all my money. I should have held on to Facebook.
Right.
It was $170. It was $170. Now it's $500. But it's good. I lost 89,000 in the stock market. I will never go back in.
All right. Well, whatever.
But I'm very successful. I have a lot of money.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I respect that. Amazing. So Manuel says that you owe him money, and he likes hundreds. You can pay him in hundreds if you like.
Manuel, reach out to me on my channel, and I'll talk to you.
Yeah, send him the proof, and
privately.
The comforter, the comforter _1.
Yeah.
Amazing Asia bought a coffee. I don't know, Emmanuel. I don't really have high hopes that you're going to convince him, but you might. Amazing Asia bought a coffee. Great show, Hake. You need to post the community board when Omar is going to be on so my husband can call in. Nice. What's the community board? I'll have to find out what that is. Thanks, Asia. That's cool. Okay. We have time for... I'm going to try to do like short, brief calls. Oh, man. Jeff in Louisiana is on the line here. Jeff, thanks for calling. What's up, man?
I got one question for Omar before I get my topic.
Okay.
And I request one word answer because I know he rattles on and on and on.
Yeah, one word answer. Okay.
When you say we, do you mean you're a U.S. citizen or Palestinian? Because I already talked about Palestinian stuff.
Well, I mean, that's the conversation. I'm from Yemen. I'm not even Palestinian, but I'm an American citizen. I've been here all my life. My children are American citizen. My father's an American citizen. My grandfather was an American citizen. So I might not have the, I'm probably white. I look a good white person,
Yeah, with a tan.
With a tan. I'm the good looking one. Yeah. I'm not as pale as Hake, but I'm good looking.
Nice.
Girls used to go crazy for me in school.
Okay, man. I get to my topic, Grace. I know he's running out of time. When you said Trump's not doing nothing,
I'm an American. I see myself as an American.
Let's get to his. We don't have time. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
That's what I'm trying to do. You said Trump hasn't done nothing his first 100 days. First of all, he stopped the border crossings. They're down from thousands a day to tens of thousands a day to, I think there's less than 4 people they caught yesterday.
Wow.
So he's done that for you. And when you talk about the executive orders, the reason Trump is doing executive orders, I believe, is because he does executive order. He's done 140 something now.
Yeah.
And he just did one day for yesterday that says if you can't read or write, you have to be able to be able to read English and speak English to be a CDL driver.
Mm.
And be a trucker. But the reason he's done executive orders is because if he puts a bill through, Congress has endless time to pass that. They can take weeks, months, years. They're in 2-year sessions. They can take weeks, months, or 2 years, and then not even get to it. So it got all over. So he does executive orders because the Democrats can fight him on some, but can't fight him on all of them.
Right. True.
So he's seeing what he can get done. He's seeing what he can get done and get accomplished, and see what the American people think in the midterms. If they're happy with it, they're going to vote Republican and put Republicans back in, and we know our agenda is going the right way.
Okay, you see the problem with these executive orders, they are reversible. That's what I'm trying to say. That the next president, if it happens to be the Democrat, he's just going to use a magic marker.
You've said that, but I think he's making a great point that
it is. Trump is trying to do something, but what I'm saying is that they're not permanent stuff. This is the problem I have with them.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You're missing what I'm saying is he can do this stuff, and if 2 years we're seeing good results, the American people will vote more Republicans in. So once to do that, he can push the bills to Congress to get passed into bills.
Yeah, but the midterms are coming.
He don't have 8 years to do this.
He has the opportunity right now. Congress is Republican. The Senate is Republican. He could do a lot of stuff.
But
with
that
the
doesn't
Congress.
mean Republican doesn't mean anything. You well know that Republican doesn't mean anything.
Well,
The Republicans are kind of lame.
They have these damn rhinos voting against you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lifelong Republicans like Liz Cheney and all them coming out fighting him. I mean, everybody's just, they don't like him because he's a businessman and he's running the country as what she just said over. He's running the country as a business. It's a business, not a. It's a business.
It is. I said that before. I said America is a corporation. You're right. I agree with you. America is a corporation. It's not a country.
You said that over. That's why you said it over. But that's what he's doing. He's running as a corporation, as a business. And like these tariffs on China, these tariffs are doing good because the Chinese economy is collapsing. You seen when he did the tariffs that the stock market worldwide bottomed out and dropped. So China right now, I think it was one day last week, China lost $300 billion in manufacturing plants in one day.
Yeah.
If you go on you look, Chinese people are, their money's screwed up compared to the U.S. dollar, their yen, or whatever it is.
The yen, yeah.
But
Chinese, they own our debt. They own our debt. You know that, right? They own our treasury.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I'm talking about their companies.
The Japanese and the Chinese decide they could collapse the economy if they wanted to.
But who is them $100 handbag and stuff? The Chinese people are buying them for $3,000 U.S. dollars and stuff, and they go on to buying thrift shop stuff like $5-7 because their economy's collapsing in China right now.
Yeah, I agree with you because the Chinese will lose a lot because the Chinese have a problem because a lot of farmers and peasants, they became factory workers. If those factory closes, then China has a big problem with 300, 400 million people who are peasants and farmers who no longer farm. And the majority of factories are American factories. That's what I'm trying to say. They are American factories. They're not Chinese factories.
Yeah, and the one thing he's very confident right here is what's the biggest problem with the Chinese Communist Party? How do you destroy the Chinese Communist Party? Make them lose jobs. That's the only thing you vote for is having a steady income.
Interesting.
You know what's good about China? You know what's good about China? China takes the money that it makes and invests it in China. They have the good infrastructure, bullet speed trains. We have Amtrak. We can't even fix Amtrak. You understand? California was going to do a bullet train, I think, from L.A. to San Francisco about 20 years ago. They haven't even started digging yet. So China, in the last 30 years, have uplifted 300 to 400 million Chinese from poverty. So with China, whether it's communist, I know we're a different system. But when you look at their cities, their roads, their airports, their schools, their educators, they take the money and invest in the people. While we give them money.
I get it.
Where are we traveling there? We going to the beach together, maybe?
Yeah, we're going to the beach.
I see you all the time. I love the way when you just walk around in the beach and
nice.
Yeah. I haven't been to the beach since 1986.
Yeah, let me go ahead, Jeff. Last word. I got to wrap up. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, last word. I said the thing is that they're losing money to invest because they're not exporting them to the U.S. Yeah. They're losing their money to invest because they're not getting no money in. You've seen that over 75 countries lined up ready to make deals with us, begging Trump to make deals because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, man, that's all I got for you. Have a good day.
Appreciate it, Jeff in Louisiana. Right. Take care.
Thank you for calling, my friend. Appreciate you.
And Jeff is a fair-minded guy. He's not going to fall for Trump at every drop of the hat.
Trump has a good idea, but he's not doing it the right way. That's all I'm saying.
Follow Omar _rail on YouTube and the Comforter _1 on X.
You know what the Comforter mean, right?
That's the Holy Spirit.
Yep, that's Muhammad in the Bible.
Okay, nice. Well, we'll take it. Thank you, man. I appreciate you coming on. I got to wrap
up. I want to thank you very much. Sometimes I know I've been a little rough and I've been arguing back, but I think it's healthy for us to argue back and forth.
Definitely.
And I want to thank your subscribers and their patience. And I think Hake is a great guy, no matter what they say about him. And I love his show, man. Guys, keep supporting him, and I'll support him too.
Thank you, man. All right, take care.
God bless you, man. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care, guys. I got to wrap up. It is Joel Friday TV coming up next.
Don't take the bait. You know they are fake. Just stop and wait. You could see the hate. There's no debate. Listen to